I hear October is spooky season, so I must crochet or knit something that is spooky season related. That's what we're gonna do. If you ever searched crochet and spooky season, I'm sure you saw those spiderweb dresses floating around, and I really like that. I feel like even though I'm not really into the dark style in general, it is spooky season, so it calls for that. So I think that's what I want to try and do today. I mean, in this video, because it's not gonna take only one day, even though I always wanted to. My name is Carolina, this is Carolina's Closet. Welcome to my channel. I like to make things, mostly clothing. Let's crochet a spiderweb dress, but let's make it a little different. I think we can finish this by tomorrow because I already started it. I started it around a week ago and we are about to start assembling things. So I'll walk through everything that has been going on so far. Let's start with talking about the design. How's this dress gonna look like? Now, my first thought was to do the obvious approach, which is basically working a spiderweb crochet on the round, and then once you have like enough to cover your torso, you start shaping it for the sleeves, so create a hole here, and I think that's really beautiful. The second approach is the granny square spiderweb, which is basically making a few spider webs in the same size and patchworking. I don't know why I'm saying patchworking, it's just not patchwork. Sewing them together in like a tile fashion to make whatever they want to make. I've seen pants and I've seen tops and I find them very, very beautiful. I decided to sketch what I wanted to do because I had an idea in mind and I wasn't sure it was going to work. I felt like sketching it out would help me out. So my first idea was to work a half spiderweb starting from my neckline. So either working half a spiderweb here or working a full spider web around my neck as if the middle of the spider web was like around my neck. And I drew that out and I was kind of confused of how I was gonna do that and where it would turn into a skirt. It wasn't really clear, it wasn't really nice. I ditched that approach and I thought of doing just the regular web going around the body till I reach certain points where I have to break the web and just start working it around my body, which I think is a beautiful design. And I thought I was gonna do that, but I wanted to I wanted a little bit more, something more organic, because spider webs, if you think about it, they're never really that style that we draw. Sometimes they do look the perfect circle, but it's very often that they just look scattered. But obviously they're very thin. Anything that's like very, very thin and dainty, I feel like it would look great. Now that we are working with yarn and has like a certain thickness to it, I feel like doing it too scattered would be not that pretty. But I wanted to be something more organic. So I started drawing as if a web was growing from one small circular web, but going around it organically. And then I started creating more webs, but they didn't attach to each other. They were attached with more webs that were more organic. I don't know if it makes sense when I say it, but I hope that my drawing will kind of illustrate what's going on in my mind. So that's the approach that I'm taking. I am creating a few webs, the normal circular web, and then I will join them by continuing the web in different directions so that they are crocheted together. So that's the idea. I have already started and the webs are looking really nice. Let's talk about the yarn. This is the yarn that I decided to use. I am obsessed with this yarn and I've had so many ideas throughout the years of using it. I think I've had it for like 4 or 5 years. If you look at my wall over there, I even did a swatch and I even drew out an idea that I had to make a long sleeve top with that pattern. This is a lovely black yarn with this silver strand going on. So it is 3 strands of black and 1 of silver. I hope you can see it. I actually don't know what it's made of, by the way, because I bought this in a like sample sale from one of the yarn stores that I go to, which is like a local small business. So they were testing a few formulas, I guess, a few combinations, and some that didn't work out they sold at a very affordable price. So I have no idea what this is, but I'm not sure, but I think it's some sort of synthetic, so a poly something or even an acrylic maybe, I don't know. It is very thin. It is scary to work with because the strands themselves, they're not well woven together. They're pretty much loose. They're just like, it feels like I'm just holding four strands of yarn together, and they're very thin, and one of them is metallic. So not an easy yarn to go with, but it might look very pretty when I do it. So that is the yarn. And then once I decided the design and the yarn, I started making the dress. So I started doing spider webs. I did it very intuitively. I did a chain that is double the amount of straight lines that I want going across the web. And I just did treble, chain two, treble, chain two, treble, chain two around that chain. And then I kept going up and bigger. So I did most of my webs, I did chain two, and then on the next row chain four, and then either chain six or chain eight, and then I start growing up gradually. So let's say I want to do a 10 line around web. I will chain 20, and then I will close it in the first. I chain 4 up, and then I'll start counting. So first, in the first round, I do 2 chains. So chain 2, and then I wrap around twice to do the treble crochet. I skip 1 chain and treble crochet in the other one, like this. I've been doing treble crochets just for it to grow faster since I'm using such a thin yarn. I think using the treble crochet is better because, like, see, this is not that tall. Chain 2, skip 1, treble crochet. And then when I do them all, I will close with chain 2, and I will find the 4th chain in the beginning. Connect. And I did the first round. And now I just kind of grow it, kind of looking at it and seeing what's best. So this has 10 lines, which means that the sections themselves are going to be slightly narrow, so I don't have to grow a lot. But for example, if I was working with like 6 lines here for the web, I would grow them more in between each row because the sections are larger. I'm sure there is an actual number that you should grow based on like pi and circumference, based on the size of the stitch and whatnot, but I'm not willing to calculate that. You feel like it's enough, it's enough. If it starts zhuzhing in, then you did too little. If it's too wobbly, like too floppy, it might be too much, but that also could be a look that you're going for. I would now do the 4 chains. So these 4 chains are just in the place of the first treble. So now I will chain 4 for each section. So 4. And then right where this one is, can you see the stitch here? This is where I will place the next one. It's always right on top of the last one. Here's the second round. Can you see that it's starting to go in, but not too much, and also like it will be stretched. But I do feel like growing by 2 is not going to cut it. It's going to kind of start being too small. So I will grow by 3 now. It's slightly bulging up, not too much, but enough that I just want to make it bigger proportionally. So instead of doing 6, I will now do 7. So I'll grow by 3. First 4 for the foundation, for the treble, and now 7. 1 and 7. And now third row done. Okay, I finished the 10 chain row and then I did a 13 chain row. And now I think I'm going to increase by 4, so do a 17 chain row. Now I'm going to do a 22 chain row. 28 chains. This is 32 rows and it's starting to get hard to stretch it out. Here it is. I made one more row of 36 stitches and now I will pin it here in the board. That's how you do the spider web. And then I've been doing spider webs for like a week. Some took me a lot of hours. The bigger ones, I think there's one that took me like 5 hours, but they mostly take around 1.5 to 2 hours to make. What I hope is my last spider web before I start. The only thing about this pattern is that it is very count heavy. I don't think this would be the project to take on the go because it's so count heavy. I had one of them, the bigger ones. I got to a 50 chain row. So it was 50, 50, 50. It was quite annoying, to be quite honest. But I'm very happy with how it's turning out. And I love the effect that the gray thread has on the webs. I had this in mind. I thought this was gonna happen. That's why I chose this yarn, but I'm so happy that it is working out. It has this like sheen to it. It looks like when spider webs have that water on it, you know, when it rains. I think it looks so beautiful. Those are like very pretty photos that I like of webs. I think a lot of people do like it and it's very ethereal, I think. So I think it's giving that vibe. I like that the black really is contrasting with the silver. When there's like a little knot or like this, can you see that like sometimes the silver is not really in line with the black? I just let it go. Like I just crochet with it, even if it's messy, because I have not seen it be an issue. Even when it knots a little bit, sometimes just the silver knots a little bit in the middle of a stitch. I just leave it like that. I just let it be a little knot because I feel like it gives that like watery, like water drop effect, and it doesn't bother me at all. It actually gives a little whimsy to the project, and it's not really that visible unless you see it. Like I point it out to you and then you'll always see. That's the thing with anything that is like a mistake. So just some things that I've been noticing. Okay guys, I'm gonna put them on the board, and just so you know, this is what they look like. These are the biggest ones that I've done so far. This is how they look, just like flat, but I will stretch them out on the mat, and this is how they look before. And these are my spider webs. Do you like them? I love them. I have an extra one here. And there's another one that I didn't pin. So in total, I have 10 webs. And now let's start building a dress. So since this is like an organic, like not really symmetrical dress, I have to pin it on the mannequin, see where I'm going to position the webs and how I'm going to join them. I think I'll probably need to work in the mannequin, working the chains and the webs that are going to connect the other webs because of the shape. A problem, I don't know if you can tell, Me and her, we're not the same size. She's a little skinnier. So we need to do something about this. About that, also, she's black. And this is, okay, this doesn't sound nice, but the webs are black, so it's annoying. It's not really nice to see her. Oh my god, I don't. I need to see the webs better, and of course they have the shine, but it's gonna be easier to see it in white. So I have conveniently, I didn't buy this. Now, I bought this at some point, maybe 10 years ago. I have this like fluffy fleece in white, and I'm going to kind of wrap it around my mannequin and pin it and maybe sew it. Just so I give an extra layer to her, so she's just a little bit thicker. She's not gonna get to quite my thickness, but it will give a little bit of girth to her. So I'll do that, and that might be the only thing that I can do right now before I have to head to the gym. And then when I'm back, we'll start doing the fun part, which is positioning the webs and trying to make it look pretty. Yay! So, that might have taken longer than I wanted to. So basically, my idea, as I told you, was to just wrap her around with the white fabric. It would gain like 1 or 2 centimeters around everything, and I would be able to see the webs better. And then I measured her and I measured myself, and I was like, this is waste of time if I just cover her in white, because it will make absolutely no difference in her size in comparison to me. Like, I was around like 10, 11 centimeters bigger than her in every way possible. So I just decided to start pumping her up, making her fatter, just so that I can actually use her to drape things for myself, which is what I usually do. Like, I usually make clothing for myself. And we have her. She's done. And I guess this is a 2 Halloween projects video. 1, Frankenstein costume for my mannequin, and 2, the web dress that we're about to make. I'm feeling good about it. I didn't spend any money on her, on like pumping her up. I think it's gonna work for now. And honestly, eventually I want to get a better mannequin. They're just like kind of very expensive, and I'm not gonna lie, like, maybe this is not a nice sentiment to have, but I want to lose weight. Like, I gained an obscene amount of, not obscene, but I gained like over 10 kilos this year because I completely changed my lifestyle, and I don't want them. So I kind of want to lose weight before I get like a good, expensive mannequin in like my size, which I want to be a little smaller than this right now. I also have some arms. My mom has a good mannequin, and I will use her arms. Oh, and by the way, I've owned this mannequin for like 7-8 years, and I've never named her, and now her name's Frankie for Frankenstein, because yeah, I have all of the webs, and I will take them out and pin them here. So these webs are holding the shape really, really well. But this one I took out a lot earlier. She looks a lot less stretched. but it's still stretched out. Like, I feel like the longer you keep them in, the longer they'll just stay. Okay guys, this is our bundle of webs. It doesn't look like much, but it doesn't look like too little either, considering this is a very thin yarn, 2mm hook. Now I will just pin them here and see what we can do. I'm pretty sure I had one web right here. Actually, I don't like this one. I don't know why, but I did this line thicker, the like line where I begin the web. I thought that would be a nice way of doing a web. This was one of the first ones and it didn't really work out because it's a lot thicker than the others. So I'll leave this for like the skirt or somewhere that you can see less. So I have one here and then one in the opposite side here around the waist, and I think I'm gonna have one in the back, so joined. And then I'll get one of the big one. This is the second biggest, and go here because this is similar to the design. I kind of do want to make it slightly snatched on the waist like I did the design, but I have to pay attention to how I'm gonna get in and out of the dress, if I'm going to do a tied back or if I can just put it on and leave it like flowy. I have to think about that as I pin it in place. Actually, this one in the design goes more from the shoulder down, so that's what I'm gonna do because I feel like it's going to give more support here. And I left this part here a little looser because this will be where I start the armpit and the sleeves. So in the design, this one will go a little bit more here, so I need to think if I want to grow this one now or if I want to attach another web here. This is a very big one. I feel like this is gonna work, and if it's good to join them a little bit so that I have a good structure to go from. Okay, so remember when you looked at my board with all of the webs pinned? Remember there were some that I pinned in a weird way? I pinned them through the lines that go around instead of the lines that go straight. Don't do that. It does warp the web on these lines, and it's kind of bothering me here as I pin it and as I'll finish the piece. So that's something that I already got from my experience. I think now I can add one that goes from this one back. I did not draw how the back would look, so that's a little bit more, I don't know, nerve-wracking because I don't know how it's gonna look. Okay, I actually really love how this web looks across the back. When I did this very big one, I think this is the biggest one, I thought it would not look nice like around the bum, but I love how it draped here on the back, so I'm gonna leave it like this. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to work a few webs from here to here, from this one to this one, around a little bit of the armhole. I was thinking of maybe having this one in the bum, and then I could work a lace-up situation on the back, like almost symmetrical, but I love this. I don't want to change this. I'll think about the sleeve and then I'll go back to that. So the getting in and out situation. Let's continue pinning. I don't know if I want it symmetrical, but I like this straight. I mean, it's not symmetrical, but it's very similar. Look at the back, it's looking really nice. I think I really like this. I kind of closed my passageway, but I figure as long as I have some way to get in, it will be fine. It doesn't have to be conventional because this is like a asymmetric piece. I can do a lace up here in this shoulder. I didn't think about this, but actually I think it's gonna work. I still have 5 webs. I would like to have 2 in each sleeve, like in each cuff. Let me see the smaller ones. I can close them, so I'll just do that. Good. And I didn't draw any full webs in the skirt, but I can add them. I just don't know if it's necessary. Alright, so I've pinned all of my webs. I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty slow process. I think I took 45 minutes to an hour to just get them in place like this. And I feel like I could maybe take them all down and try a different configuration and then decide which one's better. But I'm pretty pleased with this result, and I just kind of want to do it. I just kind of want to go ahead and finish this one. Okay, so this is how she's looking. We have one fallen one here. It's going to be part of the skirt, and one here on the arm. I did think I was going to use more webs on the skirt, but I didn't draw that. I drew the skirt kind of starting from another web. It looks sort of snatched in some places, and I wonder if that's going to work once I take it off. There's only one way of figuring that out, and that is to just manually physically join them, sewing them together, and then try it on my body. So that's, I think, what I'm gonna do. I thought I was going to leave more space in between the webs and join them more with chains in between them to join them, but I didn't end up doing them because there's so many big ones. They kind of take up a big portion of the body, which I'm not upset about, honestly. I think it will make things slightly easier, but it's not like it's taking anything out of the design, in my opinion. I will join them all where they're touching. I will create, I think, some chains that will join this bit here with the back here, creating a little bit of a armhole here on the bottom, and I'll probably just grow that a little bit into the back, like some sort of web. I also want to join this part with, I think just one web will be enough. Maybe I'll do one web here and go till here to create a little bit of a V-shaped neckline, and then go back here creating another armhole. I can go around this piece around the arm and properly be done with this armhole sleeve situation, and I think by then I can take it out of the mannequin and try it on myself, see how it looks, see if it's functional, and if it is, which I hope it is, I can go ahead and finish the sleeves till I reach these webs and proceed with making a skirt. Okay, I will die from shoulder pain if I keep doing like this. I'll lay her on the table and see if it works better because this is hurting my shoulders so much. So it has been a full day since I last spoke to you. It took me so long to do all this. I expected a few hours, but it took me 6, 7, 8 hours, a lot of hours. I finished joining everything that had to be joined, and then I grew a little bit of webs in between the places that didn't have a web connecting. When I thought of the design and I drew this design, I thought that I would just grow the webs kind of organically in the mannequin. That didn't work out because it's so ergonomically unfriendly. It's so harsh on the body, and you have to twirl your body in different ways to kind of follow the web. So I did this piece here, this like that, and I just think it's ugly. So I proceeded to work a different method. Over here, I did like a quarter or like a portion of a web, just like I do the round one, but instead of going around, I go almost like in rows. So just like this. And then I just sewed it together here. When sewing together, I didn't necessarily sew the whole line. Like I sewed some points. Sometimes I joined pieces of the actual like rounded bit of web. And then an extra way, like another way that I did the joining together the things, I did it here, and I also did it underneath one of the arms. I did a long chain, and then I just sewed the pieces in place following like a web pattern. I was very, very concerned about putting it in and out, and that's why when we last talked, I was talking about not really closing the shoulder and leaving it open so that I could put it on and off and maybe do a corset on the shoulder or tie it in some way. Upon looking at it, it is not really structured. Like it's not that close to the body. And since now the mannequin is pretty much my size, we know that I don't think it's going to be snug on me, which I don't mind that much. But with that, I think that I can just easily put it over my head and just leave it loose. And I don't even know why I thought it would be snatched, because this is such a stretchy piece of fabric that we're creating that it would be really hard to make it actually snatch. All of that to say that I'm going to try it on right now, see if I'm on the right path. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is gonna tangle so easily. Actually, maybe not. Hard to maneuver. I think this is it. Oh my god. Okay, guys. I almost feel like doing sleeves and just leaving it as a top would be interesting. I think it's gonna look nicer as like a dress, mini dress, like till here. So I feel like what I'll be doing is a half or like quarter webs and put them here, kind of like in the drawing, because the drawing I did like half or like quarter webs and just attach them. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, I like it, guys. I actually thought I wasn't going to, but I think it's gonna work out though. Unfortunately, it's just taking a lot longer than I wanted it to. But it is really nice and dainty, and it's shining really nicely. Okay, I can't wait to finish it. So I will be going to the gym, and then when I'm back, I will do as much as I can tonight because I really want to finish this as soon as possible. I will update you in a few seconds, but it's looking really nice.
The following Thursday.
So it has been a day and a half since I last spoke to you, and we are finished. And yes, this is it. This is like over a week of crochet, and it feels like nothing. And this is wild, because if you've ever crocheted something and you spend like a lot of time in it, like over 40 hours on it, it's usually very big and bulky, and this is not. Anyway, on the next day since I last spoke to you, I worked on the sleeves. Sleeves are something, man, because you look at your arm and you're like, skinny little tube, I'll make a little sleeve. It'll be done in no time. And it's often the thing that takes the longest in any type of crochet or knit. Like, it takes so long. For the sleeves, if you see the original drawing, I made one like kind of open sleeve, and then I didn't draw the other one. I don't know if you were expecting me to do a one sleeve project, but that wasn't my intention. I just didn't want to draw the second one. But I wanted to make two, and I wanted to make them asymmetrical. My intention was to make like one strip that went like from one side to the other where I had some webs, and then I would create a web down from there, but I did that in a weird way, so I made too many lines for that web, and I just kind of made a spiral with that little skinny web. Hey guys, I just edited this web here, but I made it in a weird way, so I was able to turn it around here and I'll pin it like this. And I just made a few other little webs and like quarter of webs to pin in that sleeve. I also added this third of a web that's very big. I started with a long chain. So it's this, it goes here. That's what I did right now. I pinned that in place, and instead of joining it, I went straight to the other sleeve. And for the other sleeve, I already had a pretty well-shaped, like, so I just crocheted around from there on a web pattern, and I made it very tall. So instead of doing a double or treble crochet, I did like a quintuple crochet, like wrapping the yarn around like 4 times and then crocheting with that. So it got really long kind of fast. And I did do that in the worst possible way, which was in the mannequin. I really shouldn't have done that, especially because it was such a straightforward kind of round. I could have just taken it out of the mannequin, which I did, but I did it like a few rows too late. And I pinned and sewed the other sleeve, and I worked some chains on the gaps to fill it. And the last thing that I had to do was the skirt. I did do a couple of extra webs. I took one of the webs out of the hand. I made a smaller one to put in that place, and then I put the web that was on the arm in the skirt, as well as another extra one that I did. On the skirt, I actually did do what I originally thought I was do throughout the dress, which was to organically create the webs going on the gaps, like doing lines to fill in the gaps. And that was kind of okay to be done in the skirt because it was a lot more loose. It wasn't glued to the mannequin like when I worked it on the chest. Like that was a lot harder because I had to move the mannequin and move myself a lot more. I did still have to move my body around in weird angles, but it was a lot easier than when I did it here. I was so tired last night, I just stopped. I literally just stopped. And that was pretty much it. And then I kind of followed the web around a little bit in the bottom to make it a little longer. I still think it's a little bit short, I'm not gonna lie. Like I kind of originally thought it was going to be a little longer, but I kind of got tired. Also, it won't flare out because it's very slinky and a very thin kind of web. I do consider getting like a wire or a stronger, like fishing wire, and crocheting around so that it stays open a little bit. But I don't know. A few things before I try it. I did make a front and a back, but I think I'm gonna wear it the opposite way because the way that I made the front, it's very close to the neckline and I struggle with it. When I tried it on, I tried it accidentally on the wrong way around. That's when I showed it to you. It was like the back was in front. I did try it on backwards later and it kind of strangles me a little. Like anything here, it bothers me insanely. I can't wear it for long. So I think I'm just gonna wear what's supposed to be the back, like what I draped as the back in the front. Okay, so I will try it on now with you guys for the first time. But before I try it on and do a little montage, don't leave because I really have a question to ask you guys and I really would like you guys to opine on it towards the end of the video about my next project that will be like a little something to wear underneath this. So please stick to the end. Mini dress. More like a top. Let's be real. What do we think? I haven't seen it yet, but I like the sleeves. Is it looking nice, guys? Yeah, I could have gone a few more rows down just by feeling it if I actually wanted a dress. Let me see it. Ow! Okay. I do like it. like it as a top. I think it's more versatile. I'm not really going on parties and I feel like an old person. This is such a party top. But I feel like it is. Okay, I'm not really a goth. Like I don't really dress out dark. So I don't think I would be very comfortable wearing this out. But my friend Julia, she really is more on the goth side of style. I think she would totally wear this just on the parties that she goes to. Like, I'm not even lying. I might give this to her at some point if she wants it. And also it was her birthday like yesterday, so I think I'm gonna give this to her. I am actually very happy that I made this. I feel like this was a perfect yarn choice for it. It does give that web after it rains effect, and I feel like it makes it, I don't know, very beautiful. For this style of like sporadic, organic, not really symmetrical design, I do think the mannequin was really necessary. It's just chains, so it's hard to like understand it. Obviously, you can just do it with your body and crochet and pin around it, but I think it would be hard if you don't have a mannequin and you really want to do something like this. I think the best approach would be the one that grows, the one that you make one web and you grow it till the size and you kind of grow one sleeve. The sleeve is just kind of this one. I feel like that's more approachable. But anyway, I don't know if this was very helpful as a tutorial. Before you leave, I have a question. Let's design together. So if you follow me on Instagram or here on YouTube in the post section, you will have seen that I've been like trying to design with you guys because I'm indecisive. Thinking about this design before making it, I was thinking of what I would wear underneath. So I thought to myself, I think I'm going to knit a dress using my knitting machine. That I thought I was going to do all of that in this video, but I didn't consider that I would have to do her and she would take me so long to make. And I still want to do that and I would like your help. So originally I thought it was going to look really nice in white or silver. So I did a swatch for white, gray, and black. And then I saw the red on top there and I was like, oh, I might as well just make a red swatch, see how it looks. And everyone voted for red, which was like the option that I just randomly put in there. And then my boyfriend and a few of the comments said, well, why don't you do orange because it's like Halloween themed. And I actually really love orange and I would love an orange dress. So then I made another poll with including orange and dark green, and people still voted for red. And I just think that if I make something red underneath this, it's gonna look like Spider-Man. Or worse, Madam Web. I don't want to look like Madam Web. But everyone is voting for red, so I might as well just do it red. And then I thought, and I don't know if this sounds tacky, in this machine I can knit print. Look at this fish. Like I can do this in this machine. So I could create a spider print and knit a dress to wear underneath the spider web with some spiders. And then I thought it would look nice orange and black. But then I'm like, I'm never gonna wear this. Not even in Halloween, because I barely go out on Halloween. So I think if I made spiders that are red, so maybe like a red background and the black spiders, or a beige or white background and some red spiders, since everyone loves red so much, that would look nice and it would give less Spider-Man vibes. I have to think of like those options, and also since this is not really a dress, maybe I should just make a top and a skirt. So help me. What color should the layer underneath the spiderweb blouse be? Should I add a print? If I add a print, which two colors should I use for the under layer? And what should it be? Like, should I continue with the dress idea? Or should I go for a matching set? Because this is not a dress. Or should I make this bigger and make it a dress? Please share your thoughts in the comment section down below. What should I do? I really want to do this before October ends. I'm not so sure I'll be able to, but I really hope I can. Let me know what you think of this project. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you enjoyed the process. If there's anything you would like to comment about it, even if it's negative, But be nice if it's negative, okay? My social media is here on screen. Follow me there for updates, and also if you want to take part in the polls. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. If you have a project that you would like to see me do, comment down below. It will take a while, but I might get to it, so comment, because I love suggestions. If you don't have anything to comment, if you don't want to opine on my underlayer, but you made it all the way here, comment a little emoji, this one, the yarn emoji, because I'd love to know that you made it all the way to the end. And thank you all so very much for watching. My name is Carolina's Closet. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye.